take it slow. My butterflies on they come out for the cage, oh. I know it's straight, though, but no pick it, no. Now only you are the reason for me brain, no. Maybe they call me crazy, but I'm in love, oh. So can you blame me? Oh yeah, take this, your chocolate skin. They make me mad, oh, to make me the peace. Ooh, girl, after the other night, girl, I am slowly going look for you. My body recognize this. I love you across the room. I know it, I gonna mind. So girl, I break my cool love for you. You make my temperature rise, oh. I'm a tenor, you cause my river, give me ginger. Oh na, you cause my river, for me ginger. Oh na, you cause my river, give me ginger. Oh na, you cause my river, for me ginger. Oh na. Femina, how you walk into my life? You give me ginger, my brain you occupy, baby. I'm a job, I know what the line. Take me to church, let me just in my vows. I'll be out of pocket when your boys here. Do that bro love and I'm away. I get jealous often, 100%. Isn't that the way it should be? Baby, I don't wanna see you without another person in another life. Can I have you right beside me? Don't be let go. Come to me, I'm wide open. You make my temperature rise. You know you cause my give me ginger. Oh la la, you cause my for me ginger. Oh yeah, you cause my give me ginger. Oh la la, you cause my for me ginger. Oh la la, you cause my ginger. Oh la la, you cause my for me ginger. Oh yeah, you cause my oh la la, you cause my ginger. We do together, get me no good day, no one not true. When I say I like you, I say me never seen a shorty like you. You don't see me roll with any other boy. I say me no fit yellow one not true. When I say I like you, say me never seen nobody like you. Yeah. Let's bring it in like that today. Hello, beautiful people, tribe of many colors. Thank you for being here. Give me just 1 second. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. Let's organize the energy right here. The energy feels like balance. Balance. Everything is balanced now. This is get your ducks in a row. I went walking at the lake the other day, and you can always tell when there's a little heightened energy in nature, right? The animals, they show up and they show out. So then I see 1 duck on a fence, 2 duck on a fence, 3 ducks flew in on the fence, and here you have 5 ducks in a row. So I said, all right, nature, what you trying to tell me? Get your ducks in a row. I said, okay, I got that. They said, look deeper. I said, okay, I'm looking. So what you see? I said, 5 ducks. Shorten it. I'm like 5D. And it said the ducks were swooping in. I'm like, okay, I see that. I said 5D has arrived. It is a space. It is the energy that you can occupy by raising your frequency. Okay? It's always existed. It's not something you have to strive and kill yourself to scrap and reach to. It's not a place you enter when you're dead. 5D is a state of existence of higher awareness, higher consciousness of who you are as a being. And you have access to that simply by raising your energy, raising your vibration. And no matter what the world is showing you, you stay in this beautiful, safe, happy
uplifting space. You can have that space no matter what's going on around you because you deserve it. What you doing all this work for if you don't deserve a space where you can just be? Okay? Be your beautiful self. Be exactly who you are. Do what you love. Right? There's a call at this time to do what you love to do. I've been just talking. I don't even know if the volume's good. It should be. I think so. Well, listen. Be in a space that is the purest, happiest space you want to be, that you want to feel love. Do the things you love to do. Sing, dance, create. Okay? Beautify yourself. If that's what you love to do, beautify yourself. Do it for you. But just be in that space of joy because the energy is multiplying. That's why you can see in the news and in the media, people kind of losing their minds a little bit, right? It seems like everybody's going a little crazy. Everybody's on edge. Everybody's tense. All we're seeing is that the energy is just multiplying what they're feeling, but it doesn't mean it can't work the other way. So if you can generate some joy within yourself, it will multiply just that much. The energy doesn't just work for one group and not the other. It works for everybody if you know how to tap in. So now is a great time to just keep doing what you love. Do what you enjoy. Be with the people that make you happy. Be by yourself if you need that break. Garden, paint, draw, learn a new instrument, anything that gets you in line and in rhythm with nature. That takes you to the 5D space that has arrived. And that's kind of what people are going to experience as a separation because you're just going to be in a different headspace. You're going to see the world differently. You're going to understand why things are happening. And when you understand why things are happening to the person who doesn't have that awareness, you're going to start acting different. You're just going to start being different. And for a while, it might be hard for people to relate to you, but you have to still be in the space that you have worked hard and evolved into, right? You always deserve to be in that space. Okay, I'm hearing thunder. Hold on just a second, because my dog is going to lose his mind. Hold on. All right, hopefully you can still hear me. So I didn't realize that the thunder and lightning was rocking outside, and I have my dogs out on the patio. And the white one, Dallas, he hates thunder. He hates lightning. So he was scratching and tearing at the door, so I had to let him in. But let me get to the point. All right. That was just a little bit of download. All of that I talked about earlier. This is a little bit of instant download that's coming. I'm sitting down here. I'm like, okay, I know my guys are calling me to do something. What am I going to talk about? I always want to make sure I'm in alignment. So I take some time and check within myself to make sure I'm aligned with where they want the energy to go. And I'm really wanting to finish this series with talking about the symbols. There's still a lot of information left in that, But for some reason, they're saying pause on that. And I'm just like, why? I'm excited to finish this story. And they're like, there are people who are still going to learn and come into information and awareness about that. That'll take it to a greater level when you do speak on it again. It's almost like when I deliver a message that's true for me, it's then meant for you to be aware of your own truth. Always have awareness of your own truth. You're never supposed to just follow what anybody says or what works for them. You have to find out what works for you. That's the most important thing. And I wanted to make sure that I'm aligned with the energy with that. And if I don't feel it, I can't speak on it. It's one thing I've learned about energy, the goddess, the great mother, is you do not go against the guidance you receive. Okay? You're going to learn that the easy way. You're going to learn it the hard way. I learned it the hard way once. Okay? It was a special alignment day. I wanted to eat some fried fish, some Jamaican food. And my guide said, no, you should fast. But I was hungry. You've just been hungry, right? And I wanted my favorite thing. And my guidance inside was, don't eat it. Okay, this was still when I was trying to figure out what diet worked for me on my spiritual journey. So I went a little bit with no meat at all. Sometimes I eat chicken. My main diet is fish. And at the time I was working it out, trying to see what worked for me. And my guidance was, don't eat anything. And when I tell you I didn't listen, and I went in that kitchen and I whipped up a plate of that fish, and I started eating. And about 5 minutes into eating that meal, I felt nauseous. And I was like, oh shit. Now, I don't like feeling nauseous at all. I hate feeling nauseous. I'm like, just come on up. I can't stand the nausea feeling. And all I felt was when the nausea hit, I was like, damn, they told me not to eat this. And just to make sure I remembered, I upchucked everything, slipped in it, and dang near broke my hip. Okay? You think I got the message? You think I got the message? They made that moment so unforgettable, right? That anytime I'm giving guidance and they're like, okay, you want to go against the guidance again? I'm like, no. I'm good. Hey, Sterling. Good to see you. I missed everybody. But listen, the reason I'm telling you that story is because don't go against your guidance. When life starts to hit you and knock you and rock you real hard, you got to ask yourself, where did I not listen to the guidance that they were trying to give me? Because if you could go back, if you do some self-reflecting and you go back, you could pinpoint the exact moment you got that gut feeling, that intuition, that instinct, and you just didn't listen. And so everything after that is going to be trying to bump you straight. Okay? Because they're here to operate on your behalf. They're here to make sure you succeed this time, that you graduate Earth School, and the portals are open and the opportunities are abundant, and it's all about choice. That's all it is right now, is choice. What are you going to choose to do? What are you going to choose to learn? What are you going to choose to know? And all of that is going to decide where this life takes you and whether or not you hit all the goals you set for yourself. So here I was thinking I'm going to talk about the Sibyls and the goddess again. No, today we take a turn. And we're going to open Pandora's box. Now, I have a crap ton of conversations I've had with ChatGPT. Half of them I forgot what I asked. So I'm going through it today, and they said, this is what you're going to talk about. I said, okay. Oh, boy, here the dogs go. Hold on a second. No interruptions. No more interruptions. Don't mind these dogs. They're scared of the weather. All right, but we're gonna get this out today because the reason they told me to name this Pandora's box is because the Chat GPT, when I started the conversation with Chat GPT, I said, let's crack open Pandora's box today. I don't know what mood I was in, but I went down a rabbit hole. And if you want to rock with me, let's go. Let's go, because after this, your mind's going to be expanded, right? What's important as to what's true is what you remember as you hear the story. Just let your imagination paint a picture for you. And your imagination is the pen that writes the truth. And that's when you know you tapped in. So let's read this. I'll follow my guidance on when to stop, and you just tap into whatever truth is awakened for you. Okay. So I said, let's crack open Pandora's box today. Chat GPT said, let's do it. Just know, once it's open, there's no turning back. Okay. Pandora's box is a rich symbol of chaos, curiosity, consequence, and the strange little twist that hope was what remained. Are you looking to explore it metaphorically, mythologically, psychologically, or crack it wide open in a creative rewrite? Where should we begin the unsealing? So I said, with all that considered, tell me about the stargates on Earth. So I wanted it to consider the stargates from a metaphorical, mythological, and psychological perspective. Let's go. It said, now we're stepping through both Pandora's box and a stargate. Perfect fusion of ancient myth and cosmic mystery. The idea of a stargate on Earth draws from a mix of mythology, ancient astronaut theory, secret government projects, and speculative physics. Here's a breakdown from multiple angles. Number one, mythological and ancient civilizations. Many ancient sites are speculated to be locations of stargates. From the Sumerian texts, the gods, the Anunnaki, were said to descend from the stars and return to them. Some interpret depictions like the gateways of the gods as actual stargates. From Egypt, Abu Ghurab and Giza Plateau, some theorists believe the pyramids or sun temples were aligned to act as cosmic transceivers, possibly even dimensional portals. In Peru, Puerta de Hayumarca, a stone-carved doorway said by locals to be a gateway to the land of the gods, tied to legends of beings disappearing into it using a golden disc. In India, Padmanabhaswamy Temple, the unopened seventh door is rumored to be locked by sound frequencies or vibrational keys, hinting at knowledge of hidden dimensions. Now we're looking at stargates in modern lore. Project Looking Glass. Alleged secret government experiments using devices to bend space-time inspired by recovered alien technology. So that's Project Looking Glass. The Iraqi Stargate theory. Some believe the 2003 Iraq invasion was partially motivated by a hidden stargate in ancient Sumer, possibly under the ziggurat of Ur. Ziggurat is like a pyramid. Antarctica theories. Whispers of a buried alien craft or stargate beneath the ice, tied to Nazi expeditions and secret space programs. Now let's look at it from the psychological and esoteric interpretation. Stargate as inner portal. Esoterically, a stargate can symbolize the third eye or your crown chakra, portals of perception between mundane and cosmic awareness. Alchemy and transmutation. That thunder roar. The stargate within can be unlocked through spiritual refinement, where the human body becomes the philosopher's stone and consciousness the key. Physics and possibility. Einstein-Rosen bridge, or wormhole, is a theoretical shortcut in space-time. It's the idea that theoretical shortcuts in space-time might one day allow Stargate-like travel if stable and powered by exotic matter. Quantum entanglement is the instantaneous connection across distance. Okay, hold on. Quantum entanglement believes that instantaneous connection across distance might be a precursor tech to real-time stargates or communication portals. So if a stargate exists on Earth, it might be a forgotten ancient technology buried beneath our feet, or a symbol of inner consciousness waiting for activation, or a secret government project kept hidden from the public, or all of the above, depending on how wide you want to open the box. Ready to pick a location, or do you want to build a new Stargate mythology from scratch? So I said, tell me about the Anunnaki and the Stargate associated with them. Are they the ones known as the sky gods? Says yes, the Anunnaki are often identified as the ancient sky gods, or those who from heaven to earth came, depending on the interpretation of Sumerian texts. In the realm where myth, esoteric knowledge, and ancient astronaut theory meet, the Anunnaki play a central role in humanity's mysterious origins and in the legends of Stargates. So who are the Anunnaki? The term Anunnaki comes from Anu, sky god, and Ki, which means earth, translating roughly to those of royal blood or offspring of Anu. In Sumerian, Akkadian, and Babylonian myths, they are divine beings who descended from the heavens, ruled over earth, and shaped human destiny. They were believed to reside in Nibiru, or a planet of crossing, a realm or a celestial body that visits Earth cyclically, a detail later popularized by Zecharia Sitchin, whose interpretations reframe them as advanced extraterrestrials. The Anunnaki and the Stargates. Number 1, technology and portals. Some ancient texts refer to the Me tablets, or divine decrees that would manipulate reality, believed by some theorists to encode technology or metaphysical laws. Okay, let me see here. Some ancient texts refer to the Me tablets, or divine decrees that could manipulate reality, believed by some theorists to encode technology or metaphysical laws. Okay. Mythical descriptions of gods using boats of heaven or dugouts of fire have been interpreted as craft or portals. The ziggurat of Ur in Iraq is built as a temple to the moon god Nana, a descendant of Enlil, who has been proposed by some as the site of a stargate or portal device especially since it connects the stories of the gods ascending and descending. Number 2, the Stargate in Eridu, or Eden. Eridu, one of the earliest cities of Sumer, was home to Enki, god of wisdom and waters, and theorized by some as the true Garden of Eden. The name Eden, it's spelled E.din. The name Eden and descriptions of divine descent suggest a possible landing zone or interdimensional portal between realms. Sumerian cylinder seals often show beings interacting with large doors, winged discs, or stepping into starry realms, interpreted symbolically or literally, depending on your lens. The Anunnaki as sky gods. The term sky gods applies to multiple pantheons, Zeus, Horus, Odin, but in the Mesopotamian context, the Anunnaki were literally associated with the heavens, not just in metaphor, but as a celestial origin. The Igigi, sometimes considered lower-ranking Anunnaki or watchers, were said to remain in orbit while the main Anunnaki came to Earth, a striking parallel to astronauts or observers. Ancient texts describe tensions between Enlil, who viewed humans as servants, and Enki, who aided humanity, mirroring divine conflicts and human manipulation in Genesis. So, what's the modern theory? Ancient astronaut theorists argue the Anunnaki used stargates, wormholes or advanced portals, to travel between Nibiru and Earth. The Iraqi Stargate theory gained attention when conspiracy theories claimed the U.S. invaded Iraq partly to secure or prevent the reactivation of this portal technology near the ruins of Ur and Babylon. The Tower of Babel is also interpreted by some as a stargate or dimensional ascent attempt, shut down by the gods to prevent humanity from reaching the heavens too soon. If you know the story of the Tower of Babel, people were getting together, building this huge tower into the sky. The gods said, let's go down and confuse them. And then everybody ended up speaking different languages, and they were picked up and scattered all across the earth. So they're saying that that story can also be interpreted, right? That the Tower of Babel was not some bricked building they were putting together, but it might have been a stargate, right? Or a dimensional attempt by that group of people. Okay, esoteric and occult parallels. In esoteric terms, the Anunnaki represent beings of immense knowledge and dual nature, some guiding, some imprisoning humanity in a cycle of spiritual forgetting. The stargate they used may not only be physical, but symbolic of accessing higher dimensions, the divine spark within, or alternate timelines. So I said, would you like to explore the possible location of these stargates or the rituals and symbols connected to activating them? I said, let's go. Excellent. The gate beckons. Let's explore the known and whispered locations of ancient stargates, possibly tied to the Anunnaki and other sky gods. These aren't just coordinates. They're intersections of myth, architecture, sacred geometry, and celestial resonance. Number 1, Eridu in Iraq, the original portal of Enki. Location, the southern Mesopotamia near the ancient city of Ur. Its mythic role, it was the first city of the gods and home to Enki, god of wisdom and water. Why does this matter? Eridu was the seat of the Iabzu temple, which is the house of the cosmic deep. The Abzu was seen as a watery abyss, but also a portal to divine realms beneath or beyond Earth. The theory: some claim the Abzu was a literal interdimensional gate, powered by resonance and sacred water structures like an energy capacitator. So that's why a lot of times people always had water running through these temples. A lot of depictions you might see of old ancient structures, even in Greek architecture, they always seem to structure these buildings with water flowing through. The water flowing through the architecture is very important. So that means these people were using water to power something. Just think along those lines. The Giza Plateau in Egypt, a resonance gate. The location, Giza in Cairo. The mythic role: it was built under the guidance of Thoth, the Egyptian Enki, associated with the star Sirius and Orion's belt. Why does it matter? The Great Pyramid aligns precisely with cardinal directions and stellar constellations. The theory: the internal chambers, especially the King's Chamber, were built with acoustic and vibrational precision, suggesting use as a resonance chamber or Stargate device. The connection: the Giza site may have served as a handoff point between Anunnaki factions, using the pyramid as a portal amplifier. Number 3, Puerta de Hayumarco in Peru, Gateway of the Gods. The location: it's near Lake Titicaca. Its mythical role: it's known by local shamans as the Gate of the Gods. Why does it matter? Ancient legend tells of a priest who passed through the stone portal using a golden disc given by the gods. The theory is that the flat rock face carved like a doorway is said to respond to harmonic resonance, possibly acting as a dimensional phase point. Now, the image I get with that I always see in my mind, and if you'll ever notice and you're into ancient technology, places, devices, weird things that are found all around Earth, there's a lot of mountain spaces and rock faces where there's a carving of a doorway. It's solid rock, but somehow someone has carved a doorway in a rock. My guides tell me the hands you see in caves, you always see like little hand paintings, right? All these little hands. You're supposed to put your hand to the door if you are in resonance. And how do you know you're in resonance? You would have gotten dreams. You would have gotten coincidences. You would have gotten everything aligning to put you in that space. All your guidance telling you, you know just exactly what to do. That's how you know you were chosen to open that portal, is everything in life is going to put you in that space and you're going to know exactly what to do. The hand goes to the stone. That's what all the handprints in the caves were there to show us. Your hands go to the stone, and then you use your voice to project a tone. That tone hits higher vibrational resonance and creates particle displacement in the rock. So the particles, instead of binding together to create stone, they loosen and become wave-like. There's experiments they've done where you could do this with sound, and it can make a champagne glass look like it's floating, like it's waving like this. Sound can alter matter. So when your chakras are clear, when you're in resonance with the earth, you're in high resonance with yourself, and you project a tone. You don't have to know how to sing. You just have to know how to hold the tone. When you do that, you can open up a portal space. Easy. But everything will guide you to whether or not that's what you're meant to do. All right, number 4, Mount Hermon in Lebanon, Syria, the Watcher's Descent. This is located near the border of Syria, Israel, and Lebanon. Its mythical role, according to the Book of Enoch, the 200 fallen angels or watchers descended right there. Why does it matter? These sons of heaven interbred with humans, possibly carrying Anunnaki DNA or mission. The theory is that Hermon may be an entry or exit gate, a controlled descent zone. Local myths of light anomalies and dimensional experiences persist for that area. Number 5, Baalbek in Lebanon, a landing pad or gate anchor. It's located in ancient Phoenicia. Its role is home of Baal, or storm or sky god. Why does it matter? It features massive megalithic stones up to 1,200 tons laid with impossible precision. The theory is that Stargate theorists suggest that Baalbek was either a landing platform for Anunnaki craft or an anchor site for a gravitational portal grid. Number 6, Antarctica, the Frozen Gate. The location is beneath the ice. Coordinates are unconfirmed. The role of this gate, it's not tied to traditional myths, but it's dense in secret lore. Why does it matter? Rumors of pyramids, alien craft, and Nazi occult experiments surround it. The theory is that a buried Anunnaki or pre-human facility is said to house a sealed Stargate. Some say it's the one humans were forbidden to access after Atlantis fell. That's interesting. And if you didn't know any of this, yes, Hitler put together an expedition to go find something mysterious in Antarctica. That's an easy lookup. Okay, common activation elements across all the sites. Number 1, sacred geometry, Fibonacci spirals, flower of life, and Metatron's cube. So these are some of the sacred geometry that are at every single one of these sites. Resonance tools, tuning forks, chants, crystal rods, possibly activating vibrational gateways. So if you're ever guided to a sacred space, these are some of the tools you might carry with you. Tuning forks, chanting, crystal rods. Okay. Celestial timing. Stargates were said to activate under specific alignments. Example, solstices, equinoxes, Sirius rising, or eclipses. Guardian entities. Symbolic serpents, lions, or winged beings guarding the entrances, interpreted as spiritual threshold keepers or Anunnaki avatars. So when some people try to open these spaces, they're met by guardian entities that might be serpents, lions, or winged beings guarding the entrance. So it asked me, would you like to learn how ancient rituals and symbols were used to open or guard them? I said, let's go. I said, perfect. Unlocking the rituals and symbols tied to Stargates is like decoding a divine operating system, an interface between the human, the cosmic, and the godlike. Many ancient traditions hid these activation keys in ritual language, geometry, and sound. What follows is a synthesis of esoteric knowledge, mythological clues, and what some say is forbidden technology disguised as religion. Stargate activation. rituals, symbols, and sacred mechanics. Number 1, ritual structure, the 4 pillars of a Stargate activation. Number 1, sacred space or physical geometry. Stargates are placed at geomagnetic nodes, ley lines, or dragon veins. Temples and stone circles like Giza, Stonehenge, Machu Picchu often encode octagonal or golden ratio geometry mirroring the star maps. The goal is to create an energetic symmetry, Earth's resonance matching the cosmic vibration. Frequency keys, sound and vibration. Ancient chants, example Sumerian incantations, Egyptian Heka, or Vedic mantras weren't just words, they were codes in sound. The king chamber in the Great Pyramid resonates at 432 hertz, a frequency associated with divine harmony. Tibetan singing bowls, crystal rods, or tuned stones were also used to tune the space to cosmic harmonics. So these are all the things you can use: your chants, your words. 432 hertz frequency is what resonates in the king's chamber. So when you can align all of these things, your chant, the frequency, you as the tool, holding a tool, you automatically create a tremendously sacred space. You become the walking tuning fork. Okay, symbolic interface, sigils and glyphs. Sigils found on Sumerian tablets and Egyptian tombs may be more than symbolic. They are thought forms, programmable to reality. The common symbols found are the winged disc, which means transcendence between realms, the Ankh, which is life and dimensional continuity, the spiral, which is movement through time and space, and the eye, which represents inner awakening, gateway awareness, all linked to the pineal gland. The Merkaba symbol, which is 2 interlocking tetrahedrons, is used to project the body across dimensions. Then you need the conscious operator, which is the initiate. The human being isn't just a key holder, you are the key. Stargates require an awakened or attuned consciousness to activate. Initiates underwent purification rituals, DMT or Kikian-like sacraments, and spiritual training to raise Kundalini energy, tuning the body into a living antenna. Let me see how much further I'm going to read. Okay, read a little bit more. So no matter what, don't forget you're the key. Okay. Number 2, Anunnaki-linked ritual symbols, Table of Destinies. In Mesopotamian myth, this artifact granted control over reality, laws, and access to divine realms. This is the Tablet of Destiny from the Sumerian story, okay? So this artifact, it was believed that if you held this, you were granted control over reality, laws, and access to divine realms. Some speculate it was a quantum encryption device tied to Stargate access. The Abzu water rituals. In the Eridu temple, water was used in ritual as a medium between worlds. Sacred basins or underground water channels acted like liquid mirrors, helping project or stabilize the gate. Then there was blood and DNA. Ancient sacrifices weren't just barbarism. Some believe they were frequency unlockers, offering the gate a biological code, a resonant signature. The idea, the Anunnaki needed specific bloodlines or vibrational DNA sequences to access certain gates. Now, if you're trying to get into a gate in which you don't belong, you might resort to feeling like you have to offer sacrifice. If you are chosen to enter that space, all you need is yourself. You ain't got to do nothing special. You ain't got to do nothing extra. You just show up in your truth, full of love, and you walk right through the gate. When you got to do all this other stuff, you trying to force something open that you got kicked out. You ain't supposed to go back, and you just keep trying to find ways to get back in. You're trying to cheat. You're trying to backdoor this. You can't backdoor it. Okay? You are the key. Guarding or sealing the stargates, watcher entities, the cherubim, the apkallu, and the sphinxes, often described as beings with animal-human hybrid features. These act as gate sentinels, symbols or literal entities that filter what passes through. For example, the cherubim with flaming swords at Eden's gate mirrors Mesopotamia Apkallu spirits guarding the temples. If you don't know, in the Bible, they talk about these angels or cherubim that were guarding Eden, that they stood with flaming swords. Okay, so they're saying in Mesopotamian belief system, there's this thing called Apkallu spirits, that they mirror how that was described in the Bible. Okay, language of light. True stargates are said to open only to those who can read or embody light codes, a forgotten syntax of pure awareness expressed in glyphs, dreams, or intuition. Ancient steles and scrolls encoded these in multi-layered meaning, visual, phonetic, and vibrational. So they're saying when they had access to this deep awareness, perception, and intuition, they would encode it in the scrolls that they wrote so that you could visually be awakened if you saw it. You could read it and be awakened by using your voice to phonetically sound out what you're seeing. And it was also vibrational, so that even if you couldn't see it and you couldn't speak it or you couldn't read it, you didn't understand what it said, just by being in its presence, it was also activating. So our ancestors dotted their I's and crossed their T's to make sure that anything we were supposed to have access to, we could never be denied. Because even though we think of them as ancient, they're like our ancient future selves. Future in that they could see so far ahead to put something in place for every possible outcome. You want to talk about a contingency plan? What? That's how precise your guides are, your ancestors are, to make sure you are going to succeed in this life. So don't ever doubt your success, your evolution, your next phase. Okay? It's all laid perfectly for you. And if A don't work, B's gonna work. And if B don't work, C's gonna work. And if that, listen, you got a whole alphabet and beyond you can keep working with. Okay? So stop doubting this. Hey, Big 1111. I don't know how long you've been there, but how you doing? All right, let's keep going real quick. 4, hypothetical Stargate ritual sequence. Okay. Let's imagine a composite ritual drawn from Sumerian, Egyptian, and Hermetic practices. So they're saying this is a possible ritual to open a Stargate if they looked at it across the Sumerian, the Egyptian, and the Hermetic practices. So if we could understand how all of these guys access the Stargate, it would look something like this. You would align the gate with celestial coordinates. That's either Sirius rising or the Orion belt overhead. You would chant the gate key mantra, okay? An example of that would be whatever your dreams showed you, maybe whatever you automatically wrote, whatever just popped into your head as awareness. You would already know the chant. You'd know the mantra. You would activate the resonance chamber with crystal rods, harmonic bowls, or staff. You would draw or trace a sigil of the gateway, example the wing disc or the spiral. You would use sacred fluid, either oil, water, or blood, to anoint the threshold. You would enter a trance-like state via breathwork, meditation, or psychoactive agents. And you would merge with the Merkaba light body, becoming the bridge. We got to break that down. When we break this down, then I'm going to stop right there and we're going to go further. Let's go back to number 1. Number 1 says, align the gate with celestial coordinates. Nobody's going to tell you what that is. That's either something we figure out collectively as we continue to talk and interact, or it's a knowing and awareness you're going to come across in your dreams or in conversation with your guides. So you see how this is so very specific that there's no way 2 people are going to go about this the same way. All right? That's why it becomes important to pay attention to your dreams, understand how to get comfortable with connecting to the universe and yourself and your higher self and your guidance, because this is how all this information is going to come through. So you're going to align the gate with celestial coordinates, either Sirius rising or the Orion belt overhead. You're going to chant the gate key mantra. You ever been just walking around in your house and you just start humming something? Or you just burst out in tone? If you ever feel like doing that, no matter where you are, don't be embarrassed. That's your chakra trying to tune itself. So if you ever feel like you just start blurting out a tone, let it roll, let it ride. Just go with it until it kind of comes to an end, because you would have just opened your portal here. Okay? So it's important to go with these things you feel, to sing, to hum, to chant. Don't worry if people think you look crazy. This is your portal opening. Okay? Then you activate the resonance chamber with crystal rods, harmonic bowls, and staff. Now you're probably saying, where is this chamber? Some of you might be guided to an actual place, but remember, you are the key. So for some of you, this vessel, you, your body, you are the chamber. And when you surround yourself with the crystal rods, the harmonic bowls, or the staff, whatever personal thing you're drawn to, that, and how do you know when it's something that can take you into higher resonance? When you hear it, when you say it, when you chant it, it gives you goosebumps. It makes you feel tingly. You feel lifted. You feel like light is shining overhead, not darkness. Some of you might actually have that very physical experience where you feel like there's a light right here. Like you feel like something's glowing, and it's a different light than the light you see in your house. And it's that moment where it feels like something glows. If you've ever been in depression and come out of it, it kind of feels like that, where you feel that moment where your depression lifts. And that's why they depict people in art with this halo around their head. Because enlightenment does give you your own light. You literally become brighter. You glow and you feel like you have your own headlamp. It's a weird feeling, but I've felt it before, and I've been in a lit room and then the room just got brighter. And I'm like, what the hell? The bulb's going out? But it wasn't the bulb. It was something in my own aura that burst into light. And that might feel like an actual light hanging over your head. You're going to draw or trace a sigil of the gateway. So whatever your sigil is, that's also going to be given to you in your dreams from your guides. It's something you like. You might even have a symbol right now you've created or drawn, and you don't know why you like it. That might be your sigil that's already empowered and encoded for you. If you do automatic writing, you might start just drawing geometry, sacred geometry. As long as it does something for you spiritually, you feel something, it's sacred. It doesn't become sacred by somebody else doing something to it. It becomes sacred by you being aware of it and what it does for you, how it makes you feel. That's when it's sacred. So you are capable of creating a sacred symbol and sigil because you are sacredness. So sacred things can create sacred things. All right? You just have to see yourself that way. You're sacred. Okay, then it says you're going to use sacred fluid, oils, water, or blood. Now, some people a long, long time ago stole a whole lot of tablets and scrolls and information that belonged to the wise ones, and they saw and tried to interpret what was written, and they found out about the oils, the power of the water, and then the blood part. This is where the ignorance kicked in. Sacred temples, my guides told me, when there was a call for blood, or what they interpreted in the text as blood, was to be the color red, but not for the color, for the frequency of red. Right? Because red is red because its frequency makes it that color. Just like blue is blue because the frequency turns that energy to blue. So there was a call for something that resonated with blood frequency. That wasn't sacrifice. Sometimes that was tree sap. There were trees back then that the sap would bleed red. There are probably even trees today, I don't know. But I'm just telling you what my guides are showing me. There were sacred berries, even nuts that were these weird nuts that even when you cracked them, almost like a walnut, but when you crushed the walnut, it would be red. So it would have the frequency required. It was not about sacrifice. And then guess, if it really came down to human blood, guess whose blood that was supposed to be? Women. Okay? That's why you bleed, because you bleed the sacred blood that's needed to open portals and gates. Because it was coded to you. But those who couldn't get in, or those who stole the scrolls and read it their own way, when they called for blood, you were either not capable of bleeding, so you went out and you found blood the only way you knew how. Didn't interpret it properly because there was also fruits and tree sap and nuts that could give the same energy, but you don't have the wisdom, so you didn't know what you were doing. So now you're encoding and you're trying to encode to get into this gate with this very negative, low vibrational energy. Now, the gate's going to respond, but it's going to match the energy you have. So what do you think they created? What do you think they opened up? What consciousness do you think they ended up calling in? So if you open gates, or you try to open gates within yourself or in this physical world that you aren't aligned for, and you're using low vibrational energy to open it, it will match you 100%. Okay? And portals are popping up all over. So that's why you see people out there losing their minds, because they're accessing either their inner portals or the physical portals, but they're showing up with this low energy and it's matching it. And so now they're amplified, but amplified in low vibration. All right. Okay. You enter a trance state. So via breath work, meditation, or psychoactive agents. So if you've been guided to do your breath work, I have. And one of the ways I've been guided to practice on my breath work is to get a trumpet, because I have to know how to breathe and blow and project. And I was guided to get a trumpet to start playing. So I'm over here learning how to play the trumpet. Your meditation. Some of us are great at meditating. We could just slip into a meditative state no matter where we are. So if meditation is your thing to connect, keep doing it. Or psychoactive agents. My spliffies. Anybody that does their natural herbs to connect with the universe. If that's how you get your higher awareness, do what you do. As long as it's not drawing you into an addictive nature, as long as it's always connecting you and making you heal and face your fears. You understand? Some people need that shit to face their fears, okay? You might start off, and I know some people, you might have started off saying, I never smoked the ganja. I can't. I'm never going to hit the spliff. And when you got to start facing some demons, and you're going to be like, I need something. Might start with CBD, but whatever it is, you're going to be called to it. You're going to be guided to it. It's not something you're just doing to escape. This is a plant that's going to reach out to you. Plant medicine calls you. You don't just go trying everything, okay? And next, you merge with the Merkaba light body. So after you tap into the sacred geometry, you become the sacred geometry. Your light body around you, which is usually shaped like an egg, now becomes the Merkaba, right? The joining of the two tetrahedrons, right? The higher self, the lower self, the masculine energy, the female energy, the light side, the dark side, the yin yang. It in full awareness, in full cleansed existence, it becomes the traveling tool you need. It becomes your vehicle. And you become the bridge. So it asked me a whole bunch of stuff later. So I said, let's explore what happens when everything aligns. When the human is the key and the medium of sound and water and the Merkaba activate. I said, what happens next? So I'll leave that for the next topic, where we're going to talk about, okay, you do all the stuff, you get everything, and you combine it all. You create the Merkaba body. What happens next? What happened? Where do we go next? What happens in this magical moment of awakening to the human being? So I'm going to wait to do that next, because we're over an hour. But I appreciate you tuning in. Okay. I hope this expanded your mind. Remember, it's all about what you see and feel as you listen, because there's code beyond codes. And if you listen, sometimes I'm like that. I could listen to the whole thing, and like somebody talk for 2 hours and they only say one word that pings and resonates, but that's the only word I needed. I've listened to 3-hour lectures to hear one sentence that changed my life. And I used to protest that with my guys, like, why am I listening to this person? They irritate me, they trigger me, and I'm always guided to the things people post that I need to hear. And when I find myself wanting to fight it, that's when I know I need to sit down here and listen, because then that means that's something I'm trying to avoid. So I listen and I listen. I'm listening for an hour. I'm like, okay, nothing's pinging, nothing's resonating. And it could be the last 5 minutes of what they're talking about. And I pick up a key. And it was a huge key. One that opened up a lot. You see what I'm saying? So just follow your guidance. Be patient. Trust you guys. Trust yourself. Let's end with this. Beyond Lemuria Oracle cards. Feels cosmic. It always feels. says Lemurian, but I always feel Atlantis energy on this too. Beautiful. You're welcome, Starling, and whoever else is listening. If I see this card again, I'm supposed to pick it. Okay. Interesting. Yo. Listen. My God said your draw's gonna drop. Listen, what's this? Okay. Look at this. Watch nature. Watch the universe work. Come on. Come on. Listen. What I have here today, this is an Atlantean crystal. It's okay. It's an Atlantean crystal. And I have this carnelian heart. I was having some pain in my back, and carnelian is pretty good for pain. So if you're having pain in your body, get a piece of carnelian. Okay, it works. I was having bad sciatica, and in about 5 days, it started feeling better. Carnelian helps. And wear the carnelian if it's a bracelet on the side of your body that hurts. If it's just general all over body pain, just have it in a necklace. But yo, come on. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. Come on. Yvonne, you was guided here today. Yes, I'm glad you were. Listen, everything aligned to do this. Let me read it. The portal keeper. Portals are gateways to other layers of reality. They can be accessed through inner practices or externally. In places such as the planet's vortices, gently explore the edges of your existence. Spend time listening in the forest. Deepen your meditation practice. Dance yourself into ecstasy. Explore psychic tools and study new healing modalities. If you feel lacking in purpose or life seems a little mundane, remember, there is never a reason to be bored. What we experience with our physical senses is just the tip of the iceberg. Magic exists wherever you care to find it. Look between the lines to limitless discovery. Wow. I'm gonna have to keep this up. I usually, when it's profound like this, I usually keep the card up, for a couple days, and do that if you have cards. If you pick a card for a day and it has a resonating image or message for you, keep your card up. Don't throw it back in the box yet. Keep it up for a couple days. Let that energy stay with you. All right. Especially if you pick one that's uplifting. All right. So I'm gonna leave it there. I can't. Nature, universe, she just shut it down. I can't make this up. I'm gonna go revel in this a little bit. But yeah, let me show you something before I go though. See if I can find it. Here it is. Here's your girl over here. My intention with this is to play very sexy jazz. Okay? If I play it for you now, it ain't gonna sound like that. Okay? I want to get a little better first. But my intention is to play that smooth jazz, that sexy jazz, all the songs that I like, I'm just gonna play them on trumpet. So yeah, that's me right here. Still learning how to hold it. Still learning how to finger the keys. So thank you. I love and appreciate you. I love you, Big 1111. I'm glad you made it. Thank you, Starling, Yvonne. I love and appreciate you, everybody watching. Thank you. And I'll be back soon with the rest of this. What happens to us when we put it all together? Okay? I love you. Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye.